Okay, hello, my name is Yasmin E, and I'm here with Bailey Jones, one of the advisors at South Seattle.
Hi. When I was 19, I was in my second year of college at the University of Texas at Dallas, and I was an electrical engineering major. And so I was in my second year of being double E. And I ended up being in some classes where actually some instructors made some pretty sexist comments to me. They were like, "Oh, I'm really surprised to see someone like you in my classes." And I remember whenever they said that to me, I didn't know what they were referring to, and I looked around the room and I was like, "Oh, I'm the only female in this room." And so it made me really uncomfortable, and I ended up switching majors that day because I was like, I don't want to be singled out like this in my classes. And I changed it to mathematics, and so I ended up double majoring in mathematics and education. And I taught for a year after I graduated, and I realized that what I liked about social services is working one-on-one with people, and so I decided that I didn't want to do group education, and that I was more interested in working with people on a one-on-one capacity. And so I moved to Seattle and started working at the advising center at the front desk. And then an interim position opened up, and my boss asked me to step into it, and I did. And then I got the full-time position, and then I got the promotion, and that's where I am today.
Okay.
Possible to love a job this much. I really, really, really love what I do. I really love the work I get to do. I can't believe I get paid to do what I do. And it's actually, I'm in graduate school right now too, and so like we were just talking about, and actually what prompted me, I'm working on my master's in counseling, and so what prompted me to get the master's degree is that I found that I really love my job, but students would come to me with issues that I didn't know how to help with, and so I decided to apply to graduate school so I could sharpen my skill set, so I
What
could
kind
help.
of issue?
Lots of different issues.
don't mind
Something that
sharing.
I can think of is like I work a lot with Running Start students, which you know what Running Start
Yeah.
students are. So there's students that are in high school but are eligible to take college level classes. And they sometimes are academically ready for classes, but not necessarily like socially or emotionally ready for classes. And so, how to work with students about how to be more like socio-emotionally intelligent and how to fit into the college environment whenever people come here from different countries or different places. It can be really hard to step into the field of higher education. So a lot of times students, it's like they can handle the academics, that's not the issue, but it's navigating the really complex systems that higher education has. Is not designed for people who like don't speak English as their native language. Like it makes everything so much harder. And so those issues, like I can help a student get registered and I can help a student create an educational plan. Like those are very, very easy things to do. But whenever a student's like, I want to major in art, but my family, says that's not allowed. It's like being able to work with that student in a way that's appropriate to them and their culture and like respects their family and their values, but then also helps the student, get what they want to get out of their school experience. Gone straight. I wish I had just known from the very beginning that I wanted to do academic advising, but I ended up teaching for a year, and it was a really, really awful experience. It was at a brand new charter school. It was in rural Texas, and we didn't have buildings. We were all in portables, and we didn't have phones in our classroom, so we had to give out like our personal cell phone information to parents. And so it was a really bad situation that really blurred the lines in between like where I was a teacher and then where Bailey began, and I didn't have a very good I didn't have very good skills in like setting boundaries and making sure that like I actually got to go home and not work and make sure I have my weekends and not talking to parents all weekend, things like that. So no, I did not go straight to this job.
Okay. What advice do you have for? What advice do you?
If I had to give advice to my 19-year-old self, and this isn't true for all 19-year-olds, but this is definitely true for me, is that I had done very little identity development. So I had very little understanding of what it meant to be a female in the United States. I had very little understanding of what it meant to be white in the United States. I had very little understanding of like how these different identities intersect with one another, and what it means to be who I am, and what privilege I have access to because of things that have nothing to do with who I am, and what, you know, oppressed aspects of my identity there are, and how they impact my day to day. And so I wish as a 19-year-old, specifically, I had looked at like gender relations in the United States. Yeah.
Okay.
But identity development overall, I think, is really important.
That happens sometimes. It does.
Yeah.
Still now. Okay, where do you see yourself in a couple of years from now?
Well, I graduate with my master's in June 2019. So I'm really excited about that. And I graduate with my master's in June 2019. So I'm really excited about that. And I actually think I'm going to move back to Texas, which is amazing because
I'll miss you down here.
Yeah, I'll miss y'all up here too. I wanted really badly to get out of Texas, and now that I have, I realize that, you know, I think you can be the most impactful within your own community, and so I recognize that's where my community is, and I think in my fantasy land in 5 years, I would be working as a counselor at a community college in Texas.
Okay. All right. How do you define yourself? How do you define success?
How do I define success? I think I would define success for myself as I guess I would define it as overall life satisfaction, and I recognize that you can never be fully satisfied with anything, and that you can always, everything can always be better, but I feel successful at this moment in time. I don't think success is defined by any monetary value or you know, tangible items. It's more an element of, are you doing what you want to be doing? Like, how much self-determination do I have? Am I able to choose my own pathway? That's really important to me. And yeah, am I doing something that's emotionally and socially satisfying for me? And yes, I am. So
well, thanks, Bailey, for letting me interview today.
sure.
Bye, guys.
Bye.